Hey friends, Rob here. Today I want to talk to you about how I teach music lessons online, specifically the gear I use that makes everything possible. If this is a help to you, please watch, like, subscribe using Amazon or affiliate link down below. Send me a cup of coffee through PayPal, and I will truly appreciate it. All right, let's jump into it. I use 3 pieces of gear to get going. One of them is the YoloBox Extreme. I absolutely love Extreme. There are other devices that you can use, YoloBox Mini or YoloBox Pro or YoloBox Ultra, even obsbot Talent. The important part is use a piece of gear that works for you. I just love the YoloBox experience for this. The next thing that I use is I have been using camcorders. I'm recording this on a camcorder right now, and I've been using camcorders for a long time. But using camcorders means you might need 2 or 3, or you might have to adjust, like you'll see me doing later, the view from a detail shot to a wide shot to a medium shot, just to show whoever you want to show more, or you got to set that up in the software in order to have zoomed in views. There's just a lot going on with that. Instead, I generally just use obsbot Tail 2, right? You can use the obsbot Tail Air, but I use the Tail 2, as you can see right there. It works absolutely great. That 5x optical zoom lens is perfect. Plus, it's got multiple different positions, 3 of them that you can program on it. So I've just set that up to do all the different movements that I want. The final piece of gear that I use is actually, I don't always use the obsbot Tail 2. It's excellent because of how it moves. I think it's probably one of the best pan tilt zoom cameras on the market, if not the best. I have switched to using them at least as much, if not slightly more, than my camcorders for set type of interviews, one-by-one stand-ups, weddings, live bands, rehearsals, and things like that. Not just rehearsals, but live bands. And I just got to tell you, I have been in love with the Tail 2. It's just absolutely excellent. There's another camera out there that works very well too, and I want to show it to you right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in. And this is what I'm talking about with a camcorder. I have to do all of this extra movement. Okay, so here you go. You can see it right down here. This is the YoloBox YoloCam. Now, that YoloCam works great as far as a detail camera for me specific, and I have a micro four thirds lens on it. This isn't even a very expensive lens. It's like 25 bucks. It's one of the C-mount lenses, but this allows me to get really wide apertures like 0.8, f-stop of almost 1. Okay, think about that. And then it's got a nice focal length for my detailed shots, which is really quite good. So one of the things you're seeing now, and I do apologize for all of that, you know, obviously I had to turn that for you to see. The Tail 2 means there's none of that, or even the Tail Air. I don't have to adjust it, just press a button and the camera goes to it. Now, we've talked about that gear. I want to share with you some of the ancillary things and how this stuff gets worked in. So first part of this, what is the entire set of gear that I'm doing and how does it work? Well, first of all, I've got to have my trusty guitar. Okay, so I got my guitar and it's got to plug into my amp. My amp is down here. So we'll do another one. I'll give you a little look-see. And I've got my amp down there. Now, the amp is actually going to send wirelessly through these connections, through the headphone out jack, which also mutes the amp, very important, over to my Rodecaster Pro. I'm using my Rodecaster Pro as my audio interface. It's right back there. Okay, so the Rodecaster Pro, of course, has 4 inputs plus a couple extras. I use it because it works well. So the system that I'm using is actually the Sennheiser XSWD, and this just allows for simple transfer. The nice part is it's got XLR on the end that connects to your mixer or your audio interface, as well as I have multiple input types to select from. This is a 1/8 inch mini stereo jack input, but you can adapt that to an XLR if you want to, as well as I also have regular XLR male and female inputs. So many different types to use for this, and it works well. Most of the time when I use it, I actually use the lavalier section with that 1/8 inch mini locking jack for the speaking part. Currently, you're hearing me talk to you through the Hollyland Lark Max. That's what's recording on the camera so I can make this video. 2 different wireless systems, and what you'll find out is often you need several different wireless systems. But in any event, that signal is the guitar that goes into the Rodecaster Pro. When I wear this microphone right here, the other lavalier mic, this also goes into the Rodecaster Pro, and then I can blend those 2 as one voice, as one output, as my microphone output for, in my case, Google Meet, which has a very strange flipping audio. I'll show it to you in a second, you'll get it. But don't worry, your screen is always mirrored when you're looking at it, but it's not mirrored for the audience. In any event, the reason I use the amp that I do is because it has that output like that. It mutes the speaker, which is nice. And I use a Spark Live, Positive Grid Spark Live, because I just absolutely love it. It's got batteries too. So I take it everywhere I want to go when I teach lessons. So that's my audio going in. From the audio in, it goes into the computer, into the web app for Google Meet. Now, this would be the same if I was going to do it for something else like Zoom, or if I wanted to use OBS Studio. I'll go over the setup for this very shortly in a second. So that's our guitar and vocal in. I then have some things I want to do over here on YoloBox. And so for YoloBox, I'll zoom in a little bit so that you can see. I'm going to show you how I bring in my iPad with my music, the different music that I use, as well as I do have an overhead mic if I want to use that, but I don't often, just because of interference and stuff in the room. Sometimes I just prefer to use what I use. This is what it is. I have my detail camera, which is specifically YoloCam. I've got special Mother's Day gifts for Mom she can't see, and she'll never watch this because she doesn't care about these videos. I also have the obsbot Tail 2. I have multiple of the Tail 2, so I can use 3 or 4 at one time. All of these 3 devices, the iPad, the YoloCam, and the Tail 2, are running into the inputs of YoloBox Extreme. Let me pull you in close so you can see. Okay? And get this up nice. I'm sorry you guys got to look at it like that. I apologize, but I want you to see this as it kind of happens in real time. Okay, so as you see, this is something you don't worry about when you got a PTZ. You can just push the button. But I'm not going to edit this because I think it's important that you actually see what it is that we're doing. Okay, so I've got this all zoomed up. So right here, I can get YoloBox into my computer from the video out. I'm actually using this video out right here, which is video out. I believe it's number 1 and 2. Yeah. Now, I actually use a USB to HDMI connector, something such as the Cam Link, the Elgato. However, these are expensive, and I find that they don't work very well for me. So these little switchers, this happens to be a switcher, a Juberex or whatever. This does not matter. It's a cheap switcher. YoloBox has a lot of great information. I use one like this. It's called the Video Capture HDMI. That's it. It's a silly name. It doesn't matter much, and it goes into the computer very well to give me my webcam. So that's where I get my program out. I go from my program out using a HDMI to USB converter, and that connects it. You can also use the UVC mode using your USB, which is right here. When you use that UVC mode, that's the universal camera mode, which allows the computer to recognize this input directly as a camera. So you could use that as well. I just find it much easier, less setup to use an HDMI to USB. Okay, we've said all we're going to say about that. Let's talk about the different windows that we've got going on right here. This is the main window, which is really nice, and this shows a little bit more than what everyone would actually see. As we look over here, I have my input, which is my iPad, so that everyone can see the music, right? And then I have a custom window that I've created right here, which has me, the music. It has the actual words, because I use 2 different resources. It doesn't matter. I'm using Ultimate Guitar tabs and the sheet music to bring these things together. One, to make it easy to play. The other one, to look and study the music so we know how to play it. And then on this page right here, I actually just use one of my layers, and I'll bring a chord in whenever I need it so I can show the chord down at the bottom. Let me get a different chord when it's actually the proper fit. Yeah, there we go. So we got a nice chord down at the bottom. So you can see that. Now, when we look at all this together, if I have something I need to show in detail, I'm going to go ahead and grab so that you can see. I want you to see that I'm grabbing my guitar. And so at this point in time, if I need to show something in detail, I can always go to my detail cam right here. Now, the nice part about this, let me get this out of the way. Both of those can go away. The nice part about this is it's pretty simple to set up the focus. As you can see, I got my focus dialed in real nice. And this is a static shot. So if I need to show something, I can just as easily show it, and I can get into it real easy. Now, you see the headstock of my guitar in the way, but the student wouldn't see that. So now that we've talked about that, we know that we've got all of those devices streaming in. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. And I'm going to try to give you an over-my-shoulder kind of view so that you can see what I'm doing in the computer. So I may move the camera a little bit in a second. Because we now have everything set up, the audio, let's regroup. The audio has been set up and configured to run the amp and my mic in through my Rodecaster Pro. I have already tested to make sure that my levels are set so that the student will be able to hear the guitar, which means I've set everything properly. This would generally be unity gain, but we are kind of moving in different directions because we've got audio that could be coming in through YoloBox. I'm not using that audio because I'm not using the UVC mode. It's very important to know. Since I'm not using the UVC mode, I'm offloading all of my audio processing to my Rodecaster Pro, which is something that I would prefer to do more anyway. So let's go ahead and get that set up a little bit so that you can kind of see that. On the Rodecaster Pro, yeah, it looks like we're getting in a good shot right there. Zoom in. Right. I've got everything set up for my levels the way that I need for them to go, and the connections for those XLR inputs are in the back. So I just plug them in back there, and I set them up so that they feed properly. Now that we've got that connection talked about, let's go ahead and look at what happens over my shoulder on the screen. So from here, I then need to open up, in this instance, Google Meet. Okay, now if this was a new meeting, or if I was going to set up a meeting, if I was going to do something like that, I could just click whatever I want. I'm going to click, in this case, schedule a meeting in a calendar or create a meeting for later. Okay, I can create this meeting, and now I can add this, send it out to wherever I want, and now I've got it ready to join. That's going to tell us some stuff right here. Let me zoom in so that you can see better. And you might notice immediately, right, that it is all backwards. Okay, so I want you to see. It is backwards. I don't want to allow this. Everything's backwards, right? It's backwards because Google is always going to show you the mirror image. It's just the way that it is. Your audience will never see the mirror image. They say it makes it easier for you because when your arm moves left, it actually moves left on the screen, it mirrors. But in any event, I come over here to my microphone and I choose the microphone that I need. In this case, you can't see it, but I scroll down and I choose Rodecaster Pro Stereo. Let me show you. Okay. Once I've got that, I choose my speakers, which in this case are also my Rodecaster Pro. Now, one thing that we didn't talk about is that I use my headphones, right? So I use the headphones and I turn off my desktop speakers and I just use the headphones. When it comes to the USB video, I use, instead of the OBS virtual meeting or anything else, I'd go ahead and just use the USB video. And at that point in time, I can click Join Now. Okay, now, we're actually in the meeting. Okay, it's a little bit larger. You can see, again, everything's mirrored. The text on my shirt is backwards, right? The audience will not see that. But when I bring in my music over here to look from YoloBox, you'll notice the music is all backwards. Okay, so sometimes you might say to yourself, like, that's no good. Why do we do that? Well, we can't change it. There are some plugins that you can download. However, I'm not teaching off of this music. I'm actually teaching off of my iPad, and when I make my adjustments and discussion on the iPad, I'm actually looking at the music in the proper orientation. I just want to let you know that the people that are watching this won't see that. They will indeed see the proper orientation. Everything will be flipped. And when we're all said and done, we've got a screen that looks something like this. We can choose a bunch of different settings as far as how we want this to view. I've got this being sent out. I think it's low resolution. Let me go to my settings right here. We want to go to our video and 720 and then 1080. In this instance, the video quality of the PDF isn't extraordinarily high, but it's high enough. My students all have the media. I send that to them anyways. At least we can work together. Are there better platforms to use when we consider something like this? Yes, absolutely. So if we were looking at all of this, I guess I can leave that back up. If we were looking at all of this, some other things that I would prefer, OBS Studio, doing something live, Vimeo or Zoom definitely would get you more options for really nice looking video, for text, if you're trying to read text and stuff like that. But overall, I think that it's pretty decent, good to go. I think it works well. Just trying to make sure that we can all see this and see how it goes in the screen right there. So there you go. When I teach a lesson, those are the different tools that I use, and it works out great. And I love the scheduler through Google Meet. It makes it real simple. So that's what we do. I hope that you have found this discussion helpful. If you have, hit me up in the comments down below with a PayPal link. Give me a cup of coffee or a case of beer through PayPal. I would enjoy that. If you want any of this gear, it would really help me out if you purchased through the links that I've got provided. Or if you just want to say hi or have a question, let me know down in the comments below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remind you, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.